I was going to talk about this Black History thing. And it's kind of sort of Black history, but it's not really Black history. But I saw something very interesting that I didn't know. And so there's an interesting thing about the NFL, which is the NFL now is kind of like a golden age of Black agents. Like it's a lot of Black agents. I think that most of us would say the number one agent in the game right now is David Mulgeta. He's, you got him, you got Nicole Lynn, you got other people. I guess it's enough of them that we ain't got to know everybody's name, right? And I did remember seeing once Mulgeta was on Twitter and somebody asked something about why all his clients were Black. And he said, because the white guys don't hire us. Right. I know Nicole Lynn represents Bailey Zappi, H-Town. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they're like, yeah, we can't get no audience with them white dudes. The NBA is a little bit different. And I saw something interesting that I just wanted to find a way to get into the show. And this is where I'm doing it. Okay. It's not really Black history, but you'll still feel me when they get
I'm following you.
Okay. So did you see this thing with Rich Paul? He does this podcast with Max Kellerman that I don't understand for any of the parties who are on camera. Why
That's how I feel about all these podcasts.
But I don't. It confuses me on many levels that this podcast exists. But the podcast is there, and Rich Paul be out here giving these takes, man. And I mean, it's not a big deal except for the fact that you're an agent, and he'd be talking about what's going on with the teams of his clients, and his number one client is obviously LeBron James. And now, granted, we know they ain't really got a whole lot of clout over there, and maybe this is his way, right, of trying to flex or exert anything. But he did this pod the other day where he was talking about how they should trade Austin Reaves. And it was in the name of how you build around Luka Doncic. But I think he wanted to send him to Memphis.
He'd be the highest player on Memphis or some shit. I was like, shut up.
But he's trying to move to Memphis. Okay.
Right? For what, though? Why?
I don't know. The details don't matter because you're not going to get me to listen to Rich Paul talking to Max Kellerman about the NBA. I just 24 hours in a day. I don't have it, right?
Agreed.
But I saw something very interesting that Austin Reaves' agent was at Staples Center before Tuesday night's game, and he pulled up on Rich Paul to have a conversation. And apparently it was a 5-minute conversation. And the difference between the NFL and the NBA is that Austin Reaves' agent is a brother named Reggie. I don't know anything about Reggie.
I don't need to know anything about Reggie.
Clearly I don't know Reggie's last name, right?
No.
I have to say, though, I started to look at Austin Reaves a little bit differently when I found out he had an agent named Reggie. But it made me wonder, was it a case for him where, white people got low self-esteem when it comes to basketball, that only a brother named Reggie would be able to see and recognize his talents? That the white folks, it'd be a brick wall to the white folks. They wouldn't be able to get it.
I don't know, but the whole thing, I don't even like knowing who these agents are in the first place. It's just so why do you have it? Why do you have this podcast where you're talking about your client's team? Why is another agent pulling up on you at a game? This has become a little bit too self-involved, guys. You guys are supposed to be in the background. This is an extension of the insider trend that's drove me crazy, where it says, oh, so-and-so is signed with so-and-so per so-and-so of this agency. I'm like, dude, I don't need to know all that. I don't need to know any of this stuff. But shout out to Austin Reaves. Shout out to Austin Reaves for putting money back in the community. We could really use some of that these days.
I'll still note that Austin Reaves wears number 15 because they are. Now, to be fair, Anthony Richardson used to do that too. Yeah. But at the same time, Austin Reaves, you got you a Reggie, or Reggie got you. I'm going to just talk about this right quick. You saw the mistake Stephen A. made on Tuesday?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yes. I was watching live as it happened, and it was an unfortunate situation, man. He was talking about Christian Kirk, the wide receiver, and he accidentally called him Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And of course, the internet, particularly those who believe that Stephen A. has betrayed them in some form or fashion, went to town on that. And I'm like, for the grace of God, there goes I. The difference between me and him is I just started laughing about it immediately. But I've been calling Justin Jefferson, Jordan Jefferson for years on this show. I don't feel like I don't have the right to judge a man under those circumstances. But damn, tough break, homie. Tough break.
Yeah, that was one of those. That was moments where I was like, man, when I was younger, I might have tweeted something that would get me in trouble right now. But I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know,
man, he's going through one of those patches, man. I mean, maybe at
one of
some
those
point he can get
patches.
himself out of it. He's going through. Look, sometimes you the person that the whole school made jokes about, right? Like that. It happens so easily that you become the person that everybody doesn't like. You know, the wisest thing I think that Stephen A did that week, at least it appeared to be, it sounds like he's a little too busy with politics to wade into
Right.
that situation y'all had with that woman at the Jaguars press conference.
That situation has blown my mind.
All right. And so, right fast, I want to explain this to people who don't know what's going on. Okay. I will not give you an opinion on it. I will just tell you what the situation is. So, Liam Cohen was doing his press conference after the Jaguars lost, and a woman named Lynn Jones, who works for the Jacksonville Free Press, which is the black newspaper in Jacksonville, gave him a very, very, very heartfelt, encouraging message to keep his head up in spite of defeat. And it looked like he was really emotional in that moment. And it led online to a couple of discussions, one of them being about just general decorum in the press room and, certain rules for behavior, we'll put it, that people have there on one hand. And then on the other hand, it was about black people and stuff. Is that the broadest way for me to describe it?
I think that's the broadest way to describe it. And I mean, I don't even really have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I would recommend that you don't, brother.
No. But my opinion on this is we are really stretching the bounds of like what needs like intense discourse. Like
so
because I watched that video. And I was like, okay, that's that's unusual. I've been to a lot of press conferences. Don't normally see stuff like that, but the fact this has been explosive for like multiple days now, like, whoa.
This is something that journalists need to understand, or media people more broadly need to understand. We overpopulate the sample on Twitter specifically, right?
Yes, definitely.
And the people who are not us follow a lot of us, right? Like it's a great place to share media. Historically, it has been, all right. Now I think it's a terrible place for everything. But everybody, I use everybody very broadly, but on the internet often has this misunderstanding, especially people who don't have big followings, that everybody can see what you're talking about. So your message may be intended for your colleagues, but everybody can see it, and they don't necessarily know the rules that you and your colleagues have or what it is that you're talking about. But you need to understand everybody can see what it is that you're saying. And that's probably why you shouldn't. Right?
Exactly.
All right. Unless you're ready for people from all these corners bringing everything they have into a conversation that you are trying to have, particularly if you're trying to not just directed to a specific set of people, but a conversation that you're trying to have within that set of people. You got to go to the private Facebook group for that. You got to go to the group chat for that.
Yeah.
That out there, that's not how that's going to go for you.
No. I mean, I don't use Twitter anymore, so I didn't really see much outside of what people sent me. And man, I'm seeing like soliloquies and long ass, like thought out, man. I'm like, yo, you keep it in the group chat because first of all, these people don't like us, and of course, and to see people complaining about, this lady in this press conference, it's not going to resonate with your audience, man. It's never going to resonate. They don't care. They don't like us. So keep it offline.
Again, I'm amazed by people who at once love the attention, but also forget that other people are looking.
Yeah.
Because like once other people are looking, it may not sound the way you think that it's going to sound, right? It might not land the way you think it's going to land. But anyway,